So it's about high time that we restart the conversation on Vancouver Canucks captain Quinn Hughes. And this is a conversation that I do not want to have, but because of Rick Dhaliwal's hit on Canucks Talk with Thomas Drance and Jamie Dodd earlier last week, it was the crossover segment, really nice segment between those three and Don Taylor. Obviously, there's a lot of star power in that lineup. But because of the sentiment shared on that program, we have started to see more and more individuals all over social media talking about Quinn and the idea that he could get traded to New Jersey or some other team sooner rather than later. There was an article by James Nichols, I believe it was, on New Jersey Hockey Now, talking about how the Quinn Hughes reunion with his brothers in New Jersey could be sooner than we had anticipated. This was from Saturday, so that just goes to show you where talks are heading. But a lot of this was bolstered up because of what Dhaliwal said on Canucks Talk. We already talked about this earlier, but here it is from NHL Rumor Report. Dhaliwal said, "I do believe that the Vancouver Canucks internally do think it's better to move Quinn Hughes this year if, capital letters if, he doesn't want to commit to the franchise long term." And that, of course, is quite daunting, but it's not unrealistic. If you know Quinn Hughes is going to leave, you know he doesn't want to stick around, then there's no use in holding him back from going to where it is he either truly wants to go or going somewhere where the Vancouver Canucks can get a serious haul in exchange. In regards to New Jersey, James Nichols, in that article that we looked at, he talked about names like Simon Nemec and Dougie Hamilton and whether or not any of those pieces could be attached in a package to get Quinn Hughes. Obviously, if Vancouver trades Quinn, they are losing out on the most talented defenseman the team has ever had, arguably the most talented player the team has ever had. Generally speaking, you get worse when you trade away the better player. Generally. But sometimes, if a team is able to really set themselves up with the assets they need to contend, either in sheer volume and quantity, then there can be some sort of a discussion to be had about what a package looks like that doesn't look like a total fleecing from New Jersey. If it is a huge overpay where it's a Simon Nemec and a Dougie Hamilton and a good prospect and another good forward or something like that, then all of a sudden Vancouver has some tools to play around with. Now that's not exactly what I think a trade would look like, just kind of spitting out there, but because this conversation has gotten a little bit bigger the past few days, I did want to dive into some of the commentary from various hockey fans as to what their opinions are on this and just respond to some of these ideas. You see, this quote of Rick Dhaliwal's was posted onto the Our Hockey subreddit earlier on Saturday. Even though the crossover episode on 650 and Donnie and Dolly was a lot earlier than that, this was posted and there are some comments made. This is one that I wanted to read out for you here by LERBS. Internally, you have to prepare for any possible outcome if you are a serious front office. So, Quinn Hughes potentially leaving or wanting to leave and you trading him. The issue is, Jim Rutherford brought this up in public and unprompted 2 years before Quinn Hughes' contract expires and a year before he could even sign. It just started as a crap show this summer for no real reason, and it seems like everything spiraled from there, and now the team is in shambles again. Now, to be fair, Iron Sagan does reply and says, yeah, no, Rutherford didn't start the crap show, he just added to it. This whole franchise has been a crap show since day one when Aquilini took over. And you can say that that's not necessarily true because the Vancouver Canucks were a good team during the opening few years when Francesco Aquilini did own it. Yes, they were that good, they made the finals, they did all that. But as the years went on and Aquilini's unwillingness to rebuild started to take full force on this team, that's when we started seeing shortcuts. We started seeing band-aid solutions. No long-term let's try to build the future type of moves, just drafting prospects with the picks that they have and trading away some of the other ones to try to contend in the now. It's why Jim Benning made the ever-devastating Oliver Ekman-Larsson trade, which will be haunting the Vancouver Canucks and their overall salary cap situation until the next decade. And that's not even an exaggeration. His buyout length goes till 2030. The cap's going up, so obviously you can say that's not that bad compared to before, but still, Band-Aid solutions with this franchise over and over again, and we started to see it with the Connor Garland trade talk as well. Oh, trade away Garland, a veteran core guy that you just signed to a 6-year contract extension, to try to get your middle six center who can become a good guy long-term. You can say it's kind of hypocritical to critique that sort of a mindset because, oh, if you're wanting a rebuild, then why are you not interested in trading a guy who's 29 for a guy who could be younger and who could become maybe a little better or who can provide value long-term in a way that Connor Garland probably cannot because he's 29, as we had said. And it's not necessarily that. It's more so just the flip-floppy nature of Vancouver's status quo. It's, okay, we got to sign this guy, and then a few months later, it's like, oh, we got to trade him. They did the same thing last year with so many names, although I will say a lot of those names were not super important. Nobody's saying that Danton Heinen or Vinny Desharnais didn't live up to their contracts or something. No, they just sucked. Like, they were not good. Same with Lucas Reichel. He's just not good. And as we've been noting, it's fine to acknowledge your mistakes and be willing to move on from them, but how does this happen 4 times in a year? Heinen, Desharnais, Sprong, now Lucas Reichel. Something is off with the pro scouting department with this team, and something is off with the change in directions constantly going back and forth. Then now, going back over to Quinn Hughes, it's like, yeah, okay, that's probably the right thing to do if you know he's not going to want to stick around. Trade the guy. But I just wonder if the team has the wherewithal to trade him for a package that would actually benefit the club's long-term future. We know the rebuild idea is never going to be explored by this current management, and it's understandable why. Jim Rutherford is 70-something years old. They have Francesco Aquilini at the top of the ship. He's commanding everything, essentially saying, yeah, no, we want to get playoff revenue. If they trade Quinn Hughes for a bunch of win-now pieces, then I don't think that really does anything to the Vancouver Canucks. I think it just makes them maybe worse. Long term, at least. In the short term, what? You get a bunch of pieces that can contribute now. Maybe nobody has a super high ceiling, but they're all good enough NHL players to stick around in the middle six of a lineup. Does that significantly improve the Vancouver Canucks? Probably not, but then again, it's like it's hard to do that when you get a player like Quinn Hughes off the roster anyway. So, to me, it seems like the only reasonable building step for the Vancouver Canucks should a Quinn Hughes trade be executed is a deal that involves a bunch of young, not ready yet pieces, and the Canucks don't want to get those. They want now pieces that can also be good long-term. Think about it. Like, who are the good now pieces that are also long-term fits? Leo Carlsson, Macklin Celebrini, Connor Bedard. You're not trading Quinn Hughes for any of those guys. Not to say that Quinn is not as valuable as them, but just saying nobody's going to want to give him up. Simon Nemec is looking pretty good, but, like, he's no Quinn Hughes. Nor do I think he's going to be a Quinn Hughes. You would need to make up for Quinn's quality with quantity and length, but I just don't know if Vancouver has the options on the market to make a trade that would legitimately improve their team in the long run. Or at the very least, doesn't totally damage what the team looks like now. So, yeah, I don't know. This is kind of just an off-the-cuff kind of commentary talking about Quinn Hughes and the Vancouver Canucks. Do you think a New Jersey trade is coming soon? I don't know. You can let me know your thoughts in the comment section below about these comments from Dollywall and the like. I hope you enjoyed this British Rolls 99. And bye.